Today we're going to have a look at patching AI with a Titan console. Okay, so there's a specific order to do this process. The way I approach this, I set up AI first, I allocate the channels and the universes for each of the layers, then I set up my system settings in AI, and at that point I then step onto Titan, I add the DMX line, and I then patch the fixture. So let's take you through the process properly. Okay, so I've got my project set up here. So the first thing I need to do, I just need to confirm that my channels and my universes are at the correct starting point. So the easiest way to do this, if I double click on the layer preview, and then if I click on open mixer, so this little window that's popped up here, this is showing us the 4 layers that I've currently got in my project, and we can see the starting universe here and the starting channel. We can see they're on 100 channel increments at the moment. As I add more layers, they will also show in this window, and we can then allocate further universes and channels. And if I had more than one screen fixture, I could go into the mixer for each screen fixture and make sure all of the layers are correctly assigned. Okay, so now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to go into the AI system settings. So it's the AI icon on the bottom right, the disk icon, and then the settings icon. That's the one with the 3 cogs at the top. So once we're in here, we just need to choose the CITP adapter. We need to specify our personality type and also enable CITP. So first of all, we can see the ArtNet adapter selected here at the top. So in the CITP adapter drop down, I'm going to just come and choose the one of the same IP. I've put this machine into a 2 based IP range. The other option is a 10. You can use other IP ranges, but for reasons of workflow we would suggest 2 or 10. So next I'm going to choose my personality type. So in this case I'm going to choose 100 channel mode. And then we've got a button here which says disabled, which is next to CITP connection. So I'm going to give that a press to enable the CITP connection. And what we'll see, that will go through there like so. Brilliant. Okay. So now I'm going to step over to Titan. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that our network adapter is in the same range. So that's the Avolites and disk key pressed together. Then I'm going to press hotkey A, that's the network settings option. And there I can see that my IP is also in a 2 range. I'm going to press exit once, and then I'm going to go into the DMX settings section. So that's hotkey B, the second option down. So once in this window, what we need to do first of all is clear the lines on the right, and then we need to allocate our ArtNet input to one of those lines. So I'm just going to click the X at the top of the DMX lines window just to clear everything out. Now before I add the ArtNet line, I want to just make a change to the ArtNet settings. So just above the ArtNet section, there's a little cog on the right. We'll give that one a press, and we're going to make sure that always broadcast ArtNet DMX is turned on. So media servers quite often require continuous data at all times, just to make sure it's all working properly. So now that I'm happy with that, so I'm going to close that little window. Then I'm going to add my my device to the lines. So I'm going to look down and I'm going to find the one with the correct IP and the correct starting universe. That's the second one I can see in that list. That's the one that says unknown device 2.0.0.1 universe 0. So I select that on the left, and I'm going to place that on line 1 on the right. And we can see at the same time my screen in AI has gone black there. Do not panic, that's pretty normal. It's just showing that there is some communication going on there. So now I'm going to press exit a couple of times on the console, and we're going to patch the server. So on the console we have a dedicated patch button. I give that one a press, and then I'm going to choose an active fixture. So when we have an active fixture, because we're using CITP, the system can work out our channel allocation and how many fixtures we need. And we're actually going to use a single fixture for each layer in the project. So we'll see 4 fixtures in this specific project. So I'm going to choose hotkey C, that's the active fixtures option. And we can see the server sitting there at the top, so I'm going to select that with hotkey A. And now all I need to do is place within my fixture grid where I would like the first fixture to be, and it's going to work out the rest from there. So we give that a press, and it gives us the 4 layers. Now, before we go any further, let's just change our workspace a little. So on the console, we have a dedicated size and position button. So I have a preferred way of working. Obviously, this is a very personal thing. But I quite like to get a nice interface set up like so. That works well for me. I find that if I have my fixtures at the top and my groups at the bottom, and I can have all of the attribute editor on the right then. So I'm just going to save that workspace by just clicking in the workspace window. I could type in a name if I want. I'm just going to press enter in this particular case. Okay, so let's just make sure that everything's working first of all. So I'm going to select all 4 layers. Up pop the attributes, and if I adjust the dimmer, we should see all of my layers fading in, which we are now. Okay, so this is great. This is starting to work. So, one of the nice things about working with a console and a media server is that you can actually control and choose all of your media by thumbnails, which are transferred during the CITP connection process. So if I go down into the library folder and library file section, there we go. So in the library folder section we can see a list of names, and they're actually the same names that we've got here, our bank names. And we can see that if we go into some of those groups, for instance I'm going to choose LRV, we can then see the same clips that we have there within our project. So from this point it's much like using a normal console. You can record to playbacks, you can use palettes, you can use shapes, and so on. Now, a very common question we get is people asking about adding new media to their project and how to update the console. So, I've got a little folder down here, and what I'm going to do, let's just bring that folder in, like so, and I'm just, in fact, let's go to the default media bank, bring that folder back up. I'm going to drop something into the default media bank. There we go. Now, save often and regularly, that's always a good thing. So on the console, all I need to do, I'm just going to clear and exit out. I'm going to choose patch, I'm going to choose edit fixture and update personality. Now, if there were no updates to the system, we wouldn't see anything in this window at all. But as we can see here, it's showing me that for each layer, I can actually update the personality. Now, I would recommend just using the Update All button. That's the one on hotkey A. So I'm going to give that a press. Now, it will take a moment to do its thing. I can see that my function light is whizzing away on the console here, which means it's processing. And then in a moment, there we go. So we press OK. And so now, if we go back out, we choose one of our fixtures and we look at the bottom of this default media bank, we should see a video with some lines on it, like so. There we go. So from here on, it's familiar territory. Just operate the console as you would a normal console.